A lot of the information that we have about the lady doesn't actually come from Chris Bledsoe. It comes from Ryan Bledsoe, his son, who has been a lot more candid about all of this stuff. And it's from him that we get the information about the 6 songs that the lady gave Chris Bledsoe. Yeah, and we don't know all of those songs, but apparently some of those songs were said to contain an accurate depiction of reality or interactions with the beyond, right? With beings like her in other dimensions and stuff like that. I think we only have 1 or 2 of those songs that have been publicly made available or given the names of, and one of those songs is "The Children of the Sun," where beings come out of the sun and time travel's involved, and a new dawn of humanity is ushered in, which is really interesting. And it's one more link in the chain of evidence to, that the sun is actually a portal, or maybe all suns are portals. And really interesting. I don't know why the sun needs to be a portal if they can portal in wherever the hell they want to, as seems to be the case. But apparently the sun is a portal. At least that is what the lady is indicating, and there's other evidence to indicate that as well that I've shared on the channel. But from Ryan, we also get the idea that the lady is 1/3 of the original Holy Trinity, and there is some ancient evidence to support that, some ancient altars, ancient Christian altars to the mother, the Father, and the Son. Then it got switched over to, the mother, or the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. But she doesn't always represent herself.
So remember that the song given, one of the 6 songs given to Chris Bledsoe was Children of the Sun. We'll go over that in a minute, and how the lady told Chris Bledsoe that the sun is a portal, and that's what the song Children of the Sun talks about. Here's a video I made just a couple months ago titled Sun Tunnel Stargate Confirmed by Space Labs Grand Master of the Templar Order of the Knights Templar.
I also used to work for the Space Labs up in Boulder, Colorado, which is still up there. It's in the Department of Commerce building, of all things, which has this huge underground network. But part of what the Space Labs do is they work on different projects. And the one I used to work on, which was on at the time, it was a classified satellite known as the Advanced Composition Explorer, or the ACE satellite. You can go online and find the satellite to this day. What it does is it gives real-time solar weather updates. We have a satellite at an area known as the L1 point, where the gravity of the Earth and the gravity of the sun is equal, and it just looks at the sun constantly. And with different cameras and different sensors to detect what's coming out of the sun.
Solar flares and such.
Solar flares
right,
and such,
right.
Yeah.
What did the satellite pick up?
Well, it picks up these solar flares that's coming out of the sun, but one of the other things we also noticed regularly was that there was UFOs or UAPs coming out of the sun. And so we have to wonder why. Why are they coming out of the sun? What are they doing? Where are they coming from? Are they plasma beings that just live in the sun? Or are they actual craft from another part of the galaxy or another part of the universe that are entering through wormholes, and one of them just happens to come out of our sun? By that logic, there is a theory that there's a small black hole in the center of the sun. And this may be why when we see solar flares coming out of one side of the sun, we also see them coming out of the opposite side, which is almost like an event horizon, right? Which does suggest that there could be a small black hole in the center of our sun, and that is being used as a wormhole for craft of other civilizations out in the universe to be coming through, and why they're here, it's anyone's guess, but it's my opinion, and this isn't a personal opinion.
So you're you're the Grand Master of the Templar Order. At least right now, we know there's, if you look online, there's
lineages,
there's about 500 different Templar orders around. I myself am part of SMOTJ and Sovereign Military Order of the Temple of Jerusalem, which is another Templar order, mostly charity-based, helping kids and stuff in the Holy Land. But can you talk a little bit about your particular lineage and why that's important, how it got founded?
Sure. So that was a video that I made a couple of months ago in November, and linked in the description of this video, the one titled Sun Tunnel Stargate Confirmed by Space Labs Grand Master of the Templar Order and the Ace Satellite. Linked in the description of that video is the first one is called The Final Sun Tunnel Video, where I use the screen recording device to show the best images that I have remaining of the video that I took of the sun tunnel, this portal, this Stargate opening in the sky, which got my channel deleted. They locked me out of my channel within 24 hours. They had locked me out of my channel. I found that out when I was trying to upload a video, and it said, you cannot upload at this time. You're locked out of your channel for violations of our community guidelines and standards. Within a couple hours later, they sent me an email, said, oops, my bad. We apologize for the inconvenience. After further review, it doesn't appear that you're in violation of any of our community guidelines and standards. They unlocked my channel, and my videos were all gone, and my subscriber count was reduced to 0 because I recorded and uploaded a video of this sun tunnel. That's the first one linked in the description. Final Sun Tunnel video, where I used the screen recording device to give you the best images that I have remaining. I had already deleted the video, but I still had screenshots left over. When they deleted my channel, censorship was not a thing at the time. Thus, I deleted it from my phone. Plus, I was in kind of a delirium, didn't really even realize what it was I had captured. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have deleted it from my phone. But the truth is, if I still had that video and continued to try to upload it on different social media sites like Facebook and Twitter, etc., they would nip it at the bud. They would not allow that video. It triggered an international security protocol because there are people from every nation that know about and come to and go to and fro through that sun tunnel that are not going to allow some dude who accidentally caught a video of it to spread the word. The nature of this world is that the people within it do not know the nature of it. Thus, by trying to spread the word and show people that the sun is actually a portal, you're kind of going against the very nature of the fabric of this reality and the current setup. But I think that's all coming to an end real soon, and the people are going to be made aware of the nature of their existence, and that sun is a portal. So, as we scroll down through the links in the description, you can see Children of the Sun is one that's linked in the description of this video, along with We Are the People by Empire of the Sun, and the main chorus says, we are the people that rule the world, a force running through every boy and girl. And then After the Gold Rush by Neil Young, Last Day by Moby. He only just discovered the sun on the last day. He walked out into the sun on the last day. I failed to mention that in the video After the Gold Rush by Neil Young, the lyric that I captioned there was, we're flying Mother Nature's silver seed to a new home in the sun. And we got Purple Sun by Cannons and a bunch of other songs like Kill Your Heroes by Awolnation, where it says one day the sun will leave us all behind. Unexplainable sightings in the sky. And I hate to be the one to ruin the night right before your eyes. I say you kill your heroes and let's fly, fly, baby, don't cry. And don't you worry, because everybody will die. And every day you just go, go, baby, don't go. And don't you worry, we love you more than you know. And then in the song Wake Up by awolnation, it says, we're leaving all the haters behind before the sun decides to hide. And then when we scroll all the way down to the bottom, it's got a parable I failed to read this one too. In the song Purple Sun by Cannons, one of the lyrics that I captioned there. Am I still your number one? Will you swing up to the sun with me? About the little soul in the sun. About someone who wanted to come here to learn some things that are only able to be learned through this life experience on Earth. And here's a video titled Children of the Sun that I made about 2.5 years ago. Showing the blue beam.
About to go over the lyrics of a song called Children of the Sun, and this is one of many images from within a music video.
So in this video, Children of the Sun, that I uploaded a couple years ago, I show you some images from one video of Children of the Sun where they show a bunch of blue beam images, kind of referencing Jay Dreamer's blue beam idea of the apocalypse and the electromagnetic plasma changeover event. And then I show you some images from the sun tunnel video that got my channel wiped out. But the best images, if you want to see those images, because this one is filmed phone to phone. In this one that I recorded 2 years ago, Children of the Sun, I'm filming one phone using another phone, so it loses resolution. But you can still see the little craft cruising through the sun tunnel. There's another one up here. But the best images are in the video titled Final Sun Tunnel Video, where I use the screen recording device rather than filming phone to phone and sticking my finger in front. You lose a lot of resolution that way. If you'd like to actually see the sun tunnel with your own eyes, Final Sun Tunnel Video is the one to watch for the best images. So back when I was still recording from phone to phone, this is what I did here. I showed you some images from the sun tunnel. Showed you some images from the same plasma bands around the edge that you can see in this video of the sun tunnel are right there in the thumbnail of the video, the thumbnail of Sail by awolnation. You can see the same plasma bands up over his shoulder. Anyway, I just thought that was worth noting. So I show you some of that, show you some of that. We go over the lyrics of Children of the Sun.
These are plasma bands. Just
In real sun tunnel video. So let's get on to the... Forgive my singing. I know it's hard to bear. Stick with the content for the concepts. Description, not necessarily for the image.
there'll be two versions of Children of the Sun. One is for all those blue beam images. The other one will be for the lyrics. Children of the Sun. People of the earth, can you hear me? Came a voice from the sky on that magical night. And in the colors of 1,000 sunsets, they traveled through the world on a silvery light. The people of the earth stood waiting, watching as the ships came one by one, setting fire to the sky as they landed, carrying to the world the children of the sun. Children of the sun. All at once came a sound from inside. Then a beam made of light hit the ground. Everyone felt the sound of their heartbeat. Every man, every woman, every child. They passed the limits of imagination, through the doors to the world of another time. And on the journey of 1,000 lifetimes, with the children of the sun, they started to climb. Children of the sun. No more gravity, nothing holding them down. Floating endlessly as their ship leaves the ground. Through the walls of time at the speed of light, flies the crystal ships on their celestial flight. Now we're going to check out the lyrics of After the Gold Rush, And remember that we also have the song by Empire of the Sun called We Are the People That Rule the World, and that phrase, there is no way to the Father but through the Son, and that Joseph Smith declared there are people who live in the sun, of course, and I've covered that before. So let's check out the lyrics from After the Gold Rush. Well, I dreamed I saw the knights in shining armor saying something about a queen. There were peasants singing and drummers drumming, and the archer split the tree. There was a fanfare blowing to the sun that was floating on the breeze. Look at Mother Nature on the run in the 1970s. And it repeats that. I was laying in a burned out basement with the full moon in my eyes. I was hoping for a replacement when the sun burst through the sky. There was a band playing in my head, and I felt like getting high. And I was thinking of something a friend once said, and I was hoping it was a lie. They repeat that one. And I'm the friend who once said things that people will be hoping was a lie. Well, I dreamed I saw the silver spaceships lying in the yellow haze of the sun. Oops. There were children crying and colors flying all around the chosen ones. Oh, but they say it was all in a dream, so don't worry. They're not telling you what's happened before and what will happen again. It was just all in a dream, all in a dream. The loading had begun, flying Mother Nature's silver seed to a new home in the sun. Flying Mother Nature's silver seed to a new home. This one in real quick, because if I let the stuff pile up in my brain, it gets like jammed up and clogged. So when I was looking for the lyrics of Children of the Sun, this is one of the things it gave me. A song called The Dead Can Dance. And it says, we are the ancients, as ancient as the sun. We came from the ocean, once our ancestral home, so that one day we could all return to our birthright, the great celestial dome. We are the children of the sun. Our journey's just begun. Sunflowers in our hair. We are the children of the sun. There's room for everyone. Sunflowers in our hair. Throughout the ages of iron, bronze, and stone, we marveled at the night sky and what may lie beyond. We burned offerings to the elemental ones, made sacrifices for beauty, peace, and love. We are the children of the sun. Our kingdom will come, sunflowers in our hair. We are the children of the sun. Our carnival's begun, our songs will fill the air. And you know it's time to look for reasons why. Just reach up and touch the sky. To the heavens we'll ascend. We are the children of the sun. Our journey has begun. Our journey has begun. All the older children come out at night, anemic, soulless, great hunger in their eyes, unaware of the beauty that sleeps tonight. And all the queen's horses and all the king's men will never put these children back together again. Faith, hope, our charities, greed, sloth, our enemies. We are the children of the sun. We are the children of the sun.
This is a more recent edition of a song I've come across that talks about the sun tunnel, the sun being our home. Blue Girl by Chromatics says, Blue Girl, don't hate the world. Your friends will never understand what it's like for us. Bluebird, don't say a word. Your voice will never be heard in this endless night. They never understand, they never understand. They never understand why we say goodbye. Blue Girl, don't make a scene. Your eyes say more than they mean. Under flashing light, Blue One, don't come undone. Make your place inside the sun and leave this broken world. They never understand why we say goodbye. It repeats that again. There's Blue Girl, there's nothing wrong. There's somewhere I know we belong, but it's not this town. Blue Thing, They pull the string, they think they own everything, don't let it get you down. And this is the one titled Final Sun Tunnel Video, made just over a year ago, where you'll get the best visual images, but it's in vertical video format. We'll watch a little bit of it here. This will be the Final Sun Tunnel.
I'm only making this one because I've never actually been able to upload this using a screen recorder device. It's always been recording phone to phone, screen to screen, where it loses some resolution. These are images from the 19-second video that got my channel wiped out March 16th of 2019. I'll show you the email from YouTube. For a full 6 seconds during that 19-second video, the sun developed these rings around it that were all moving inward in concentric circles. I uploaded it to YouTube, erased it from my gallery, and the next day they wiped out my channel, removed every video from my channel and removed all the subscribers, and then gave me the channel back. At that point I didn't have the video anymore. All I had was these screenshots that I had taken of the video. You can see these two orbs, one above the cloud layer and one below the cloud layer. Also, these wavy bands of color, plasma bands I call them. So I'm just going to go through.
I just want to clarify for you. This is one of the orbs. This is one of the orbs. This is the lens flare. Once again, lens flare. This one's a real orb. This one's a real orb. There's another one in the clouds over here. And at one point during these videos, there's one of these circles down here with a triangle in the middle. Like the circular part is the force field, the anti-gravitational technology. The screenshots
From that video, so the next time someone asks about the sun tunnel video that I've mentioned so many times, this will be the video I give them to use as a reference for what this sun tunnel is. I'm just going to go through these. So right here you can see a magnetic flux line breaking horizontally and one vertically to the left of the sun, and right here you can faintly see another one of those orbs. Here's a close-up of the two that are most visible, and you can see them both equally, the one above the cloud layer and the one below the cloud layer. Also, there's this one, center screen, nestled in the clouds. I call it the Death Star because it looks kind of like the Death Star from Star Wars. It's there visible in all of the screenshots. Just a little bit closer cropped in of the orbs that appear to be transiting through the sun tunnel.
Okay, so the video will be linked in the description, titled Final Sun Tunnel. It's in vertical video format because that's the way I took the original screenshots of this video. I was still kind of new to the whole thing, didn't realize I should probably turn my phone sideways and then take the screenshots. The point is, the sun tunnel is not a theory, it's not an idea, it's not a concept, it is the reality of our existence. The fact that it got my channel wiped and a form of censorship unlike anything we have ever seen before or ever since proves that this is a reality that is known about by the powers that be. It is not news to them. It is not something they weren't aware of. It is something they have the AI programmed to spot within 24 hours. Though granted, there are probably others ways they could have spotted it. They got people watching my channel because of the other things that I've been involved in, from plasma fire to discovering the implant behind my ear, etc. There are multiple agencies from multiple different departments, multiple agents that monitor this channel for their own different reasons. May or may not have been AI that spotted these images and scrubbed it from the net, is what I'm saying there. It's the only reason I brought that up. Point is, sun tunnel is not a theory. It's not a concept. It's not a lofty notion to try to stretch your mind around with it if you have a healthy imagination. It's the reality of our existence. And I hope this prepares you for the day when everyone else discovers this as well. And you can help them through the transition between worlds as we walk between worlds. When they are shown the true nature of their world, that the sun tunnel is a portal, and that there are highly intelligent beings that go and come and go to and fro through that sun tunnel, and that there is a world on the other side of that much bigger than the world on this side that we're aware of, their whole world shatters. Even if they occupy the same land mass that they've always occupied, they're transported to a different world of existence. You then live in a world with God, rather than the current world everybody lives in, where they think we're the most intelligent thing that ever existed, and that we're the top of the food chain, and then they find out real quickly we're actually the bottom of the food chain. And this will transport us from the Dark Age into the Age of Enlightenment and a Renaissance period. The disclosure, as they call it, referring to ETs and all of the other things, including the sun tunnel, the airborne aircraft carrier, the black dot craft, the plasma fire, full disclosure is on the horizon. And the world we live in after disclosure, one generation after the disclosure, they will look back upon us like cavemen with very primitive thinking. Just like we used to look back on people who thought the earth was flat. Discard the group of flat earthers that has emerged over the past 10 years that fell for an online psyop and think they're fucking smart now because they know the earth is flat. Prior to 10 years ago, we would look back on people who thought the earth was flat as a primitive people. That all of humanity thought the earth was flat from the time that they were cavemen till the time of about 500 years ago at the invention of the telescope, when we discovered the earth was round. And prior to that, people had very primitive thinking, like cavemen, and believed the earth was flat. One generation after disclosure, they will look back upon the people of today who think that they're alone in the world, that they're the top of the food chain, and that they're the smartest thing that ever existed, like flat earth cavemen primitive thinking. And they will go, but wait a minute. They had access to all the information in the world at the palm of their hand. They weren't primitive. They had cell phones. They had internet. And they'll realize that we were kept in the dark through lies. We were kept in a primitive way of thinking. People withheld this from us. They enslaved us on a plantation in a mental prison through lies. And the people themselves were willing to believe it. If it weren't for their willingness to believe the lies, there's no way this could have been kept from them. Just like the trees burning on the inside all around them. You can't keep it under wraps when it's all around them. They have to choose not to see it because they prefer that because it's more comfortable. They suck a binky and a pacifier to comfort them. A child doesn't reach for a pacifier because they're stupid. They reach for a pacifier because it brings them a feeling of comfort. And that's why people prefer the feeling of comfort that they get when they believe we're all alone. And that we're the top of the food chain and nothing smarter has ever been developed. Because when we find out otherwise, we realize we are on the bottom of the food chain. We're the only ones that are in the dark about the nature of our existence. These other intelligent beings are very aware of who we are and that we exist. We're the ones that aren't aware of them and who they are and that they exist. We go from thinking we're on the top of the food chain of intelligence to realizing that we're on the bottom of the food chain of intelligence. This is a consciousness farm. We were planted here and cultivated like a crop. And the time is coming for the great holy harvest. And most of that consciousness on this tree is unripe. But God can scrape out your rotten spots and ripen your undeveloped spots if you reach out. So those of us that are engaged in this truther process are a living bridge for others as we walk between worlds. Our perception of reality transfers us from one world to another. And on the other side of this full disclosure, we will have a very different perception of an appreciation for truth and a recognition of how devastating lies actually are. They retarded and mutated the consciousness of an entire species and kept them enslaved and in the dark age for generations. So much so that they still thought they were alone and that they were the smartest thing and that the world was flat and that they were the center of the universe. One generation after disclosure, they will look back upon us as a poor primitive people that were held captive, enslaved in our own ignorance and unawareness, in the dark about the truth of who we are and the nature of our world. One generation after the disclosure, we will be looked upon as an enslaved species. And after the Renaissance, the Age of Enlightenment, the truth, you see, that's why in the Bible it says Satan is like the father of all lies, and Jesus says, I am the truth, the embodiment and the personification of truth. Afterwards, we will have a whole new appreciation for truth as a way of life, and an acknowledgement about the devastating consequences of lies, so much so that it enslaved and stunted the growth and arrested the development of an entire species for generations. And the most difficult honesty to engage in is being honest with yourself about yourself. That's the hardest part. So when I referred in a recent video to the work that Latchkey Hustle is doing, when he called it a hobby that he's just going to kind of put down, and I said a hobby is a complete misappropriation of terminology. It is a calling, it is a purpose and meaning of life, not a hobby. I meant it. This is the work that transfers us out of the dark age into an age of enlightenment and a new renaissance and a whole new world. That's the process we're going through right now. And people sometimes ask me, so when do you think the final day of total cataclysm will happen? And that's looking into the future in anticipation of something that's going to happen in the future, which takes your attention away from right now and the acknowledgement that it is happening right now. Look at all that's happening around us. Acknowledge it as it's happening. We've become desensitized so much that every day it's something new and different that blows your mind. Anyone who watches Mr. MB3 can see that. The flashing lights, the fog, the plasma fire, the UAP drones, the orbs. It just keeps coming day after day after day, more and more disclosure, incrementally giving us greater and greater exposure to this outside world. And at some point, yeah, the veil will be lifted and we will be blinded by the light. Until then, acknowledge that it's happening right now. Otherwise, we kind of tend to compartmentalize and disassociate from the radical transformation that our society is going through right now and say, when is it gonna happen? And don't acknowledge that it's actually happening right now at breakneck pace. Embrace the part that you play in this transition. You are a living bridge as we walk between worlds. Every one of you.
Here you can see one magnetic flux line broken up and to the left of the sun. And just to be clear about what it is I'm talking about, right there. You can also seem to see 6 sides to the sun. There seems to be 6 sides to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These wavy bands of plasma.
At this point, you can see the 6 sides of the sun in the bands of color around the sun. I suggest you watch this video in vertical format, and it gives you the backstory of how I came about this video. But you can see 1, 2, 3, and so it goes around the sun with the 6 sides. You can see it represented in the bands around the sun that were all like concentric rings moving inward for 6 seconds of a 19-second video that I took hanging out my car window one morning when traffic was slow. That's my driver door mirror.
Anything worthy, like I just had the inspiration to video the clouds. Traffic started moving again, and I said, ah, to heck with it. In this one, you can see one of these orbs right there where the color bands terminate at about the 9 o'clock position, maybe 10 o'clock position. Right here is a line where the color bands that go around the edge stop right there. And there's one of those orbs right there at the termination line. So you can see that the color bands go all the way around the edge and then stop right there. And the fact that there's this orb right there at the edge where the color bands stop shows some sort of interaction between the orb and the color bands around the sun. This is what the sun looks like on that particular day when the portal is not open. This is one of the screenshots from that 19 seconds that was not within the 6-second window where it developed those rings that were all moving inward. You can still see the Death Star over there nestled in the clouds. Here again is those two flux lines broken up and to the left of the sun. It has the rings around it, but not the wavy bands of plasma. And again, there's one of those orbs that's faintly visible. Right there between the crosshairs. Here there's only one of the magnetic flux lines broken up and to the left of the sun, and it appears to have the 6 sides to it. Here's just a good shot of the orb above and below the cloud line. The color bands around the sun, but they don't have the wavy pattern to them. Ironically, I'm pulling these from email that I sent to Logic Before Authority in his most recent videos showing that angels, even Jesus and Mary, they're all depicted in an orb, a sphere around them. He shows screenshots from The Wizard of Oz where Glinda the Good Witch appears in an orb to Terminator where they appear in a sphere. But he didn't find... And we are the people that rule the world, running through every boy and girl by Empire of the Sun. So seeing what I've seen and knowing what I know about the sun being a portal through which craft and or beings transit, it explains can also be called the Stargate instead of sun tunnel. And it explains why there are so many religions throughout history that worship and venerate the sun. And Christians say, oh, those are just dumb pagans. Even Christianity is cloaked paganism or sun worship. All of those sun gods have the same story as Jesus, born December 25th to a virgin mother, 12 disciples, died, resurrected 3 days later, died on the cross. Buddha, born December 25th to a virgin mother. Krishna, born December 25th to a virgin mother. So even Christianity is just another sun god. The only way to the Father is through the Son. Get it?
So this video here, interdimensional dogfight with 2 orbs and 1 TR-3B and the Death Star transcending the solar portal, is like the video that I made immediately after they wiped my channel out, and I was printing these out on paper because they were blurring out the screenshot slideshows that I would put up, because they were also in Ken Burns effect where it moves it around and pixelates it out and stuff. But anyway, links are in the description if you want to explore this subject further. So Ryan Bledsoe, Chris Bledsoe's son, says that there's 6 songs that the lady who interacts with Chris Bledsoe has given Chris, and that these 6 songs represent the nature of our reality, and one of those songs is Children of the Sun. I'm guessing I've probably already tapped into 1 or more of the other 5 songs, probably some that are listed here in the description.
A lot of the information that we have about the lady doesn't actually come from Chris Bledsoe. It comes from Ryan Bledsoe, his son, who has been a lot more candid about all of this stuff. And it's from him that we get the information about the 6 songs that the lady gave Chris Bledsoe. We don't know all of those songs, but apparently some of those songs were said to contain an accurate depiction of reality or interactions with the beyond, right? With beings like her in other dimensions and stuff like that. I think we only have 1 or 2 of those songs that have been publicly made available or given the names of. And one of those songs is The Children of the Sun, where beings come out of the sun and time travel's involved, and a new dawn of humanity is ushered in, which is really interesting. And it's, one more link in the chain of evidence to, that the sun is actually a portal, or maybe all suns or portals. And really interesting. I don't know why the sun needs to be a portal if they can portal in wherever the hell they want to, as seems to be the case. But apparently the sun is a portal. At least that is what the lady is indicating, and there's other evidence to indicate that as well that I've shared on the channel. But from Ryan, we also get the idea that the lady is 1/3 of the original Holy Trinity. And
Truth dropped from the Teletubbies to cap it off with.